All right, Real Pastors back again talking some movie stuff. And today we got a very special episode, not talking a certain movie, not a review today, but we got a little bit of news we want to talk about and
Hmm.
two quotes from two, you know, really high up guys in the movie world. One's a legend, my favorite director of all time, Steven Spielberg. The other's the CEO of Sony. What's his name? I can't remember. Um, they got some quotes where we'll just say they're preaching to the choir here, and we want to talk about it.
Oh yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. It is the preaching to the choir because I'm just glad that someone finally said these things.
Hmm.
Let's just put it out there. I'm glad they finally said it, and I just want to know exactly, you know, our thoughts, like what your thoughts are. I know I'm pretty sure it's close to mine, but want to be able to talk about it. So,
Hmm. Yeah, finally,
um,
someone said it. Someone of high esteem said it. Someone way up, and these are two people that you know people listen to or should listen to, especially in Spielberg's case. They know what they're
right.
talking about when it comes to this stuff.
Yep. Yep. So, so I say let's start first with Sony CEO and his remarks that he had to say. This is Tom Rothman is his
Rothman.
name, and yeah, and he gets up there, and so CinemaCon, if for those who don't know, CinemaCon is where all the all the owners of all the big theater chains, so AMC, Cinemark, Regal, and other like mom and pa like little ones, and like just all the different theater chains, right? People who own movie theaters, they come to CinemaCon, and then all the movie studios present to them, hey, here's what's coming up. Here's what we're releasing in the summer. Here's what we're releasing at the end of the year, just so they know the entire slate. And then from there, then the studios will purchase those movies or essentially rent them because they got to send them back, right? But
Hmm.
then they say, okay, I want to host your movie at my theater. And so that's how kind of this works. Um, and so at this, at this con where everyone is there, Sony, Tom Rothman, he gets up and he starts going off and saying, we have got to make the movie theater experience better. And he knows, like, money wise, they're not making the money they used to make, and people aren't coming out. And the things that he hit on was, one, it's too expensive for
Hmm.
people to go to the movie theaters, especially if you want to go with your family. It's too expensive. He talks about how he says, well, it's time to get rid of the ads. He's like,
Hmm.
30 minutes of ads is ridiculous. Let's get to the movies. And he says, toning back on the trailers that we show, because already you're like, it's you have a showtime of, let's say showtime is 7 o'clock. Your movie doesn't start till 7:30, 7:40, 7:35. Like that's
Hmm.
normally what's happening. So people aren't even, and he goes on, he talks about how people aren't even showing up. People are showing up late to the movies on purpose so they miss the ads and at least some of the trailers. And so he gets up and he tells the movie theater owners this. Now there's a lot to get into, but when you first hear this, Gary, what are your initial thoughts?
Oh yeah, I mean, amen. I don't know what else to say. I mean, I'm all for that. Make it cheaper. Well, I'll start off with the ads. Something's got to be done about this.
Mm-hmm.
It is it's absolutely ridiculous. And they're shooting themselves in the foot because people aren't even seeing these ads because they know they have time to get there late. I
I'm one of
am a
them.
weirdo. I have a problem if a movie says 7, I'm going to be there at 6:55. You know that about me.
Mm-hmm.
So I see all the ads, even though I know I don't have to, but that's, that's other conversation about my mental health issues. But anyway, it's okay. Let's break down for a second the ads that we have to experience before the movie starts. Okay, you
Right.
have a welcome ad from AMC. Let's just say AMC is one we go to. You have a welcome
Right.
ad from AMC. You then have a trailer, and then you have another AMC ad. And about they're doing an ad now about how movies are made. Right there's that
Right.
now. Like it starts with a script. We don't need that. And then you have a Coke ad,
Mm-hmm.
and okay, first off, Coke. I love Coke. I love the product. I'm a Coke guy. You know, we walk in, we see Coke everywhere. We know, we get it. You don't need an ad. And then there's the Nicole Kidman thing,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have the exit stuff mixed in with all
Yeah.
these trailers. It is just by the time the movie starts, you're exhausted. You've
Yeah.
been hit over the head with advertisements and movies, and it's like I feel like there's got to be a balance here somewhere where it's like not all this stuff, maybe 2 or 3 trailers, one ad, and then move on.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, it's gotten so bad that I'm pulling this up now. Like I'm pulling this up on my phone, my AMC Theaters app. Then because when you go to check out a movie, all right, like I'm just gonna click on whatever movie, and you want to pick on a showtime. When it gives you all the showtimes, this is what it says at the top: movies start 25 to 30 minutes after showtime.
Yeah.
Like they have
Shouldn't
to
be the
tell
case.
you now. Yeah, they have to tell you now. So like this movie, whatever one I picked, says 7:45 p.m. Okay, so that means this thing isn't starting till after 8 p.m.
Mhm.
And this is why people like myself, I don't show up on time. I do not care. One, because I've seen I've seen the trailers already because of YouTube. I think
Yeah.
that is a big problem. And
That's
maybe,
another thing. Yeah.
that's another thing that's a big problem. Stop releasing, like me personally, like I get it. You want to build hype and all that stuff, and YouTube, you get all these views, but I have a love-hate with it because now the whole like you only see trailers at the movie theater feeling is gone.
Yeah.
Now there are certain trailers I'll say I want to see on the big screen, but for the most part, I don't care. I've seen them.
Mhm.
And so now like I'm not showing up on time. So the whole point of these ads and everything is to get people excited or to promote and all that. You're not getting the job done
Mm-mm.
because most people aren't showing up on time unless you have an issue like Gary, where he has to show up on time. But even then, if again, even because it's so expensive, families like for me, if I take me, my wife, and my 3 kids, that's a lot of money. Even with my A-list, it's a lot of money to go to the movie theater. And then yes, they want snacks and all this stuff. So I don't want to sit through all these ads. You're making it harder for a typical family to go to the movies.
Mhm.
And I understand like we got to make things cheaper. I get it. I think some of that is on the studios, in my opinion, because I understand how the theater business works, right? Like for the first part of like when the movie first releases, like I think for the first 2 weeks, I think the number is like 90% of that ticket sale goes to the studio,
Yeah.
and then the other 10% stays with the movie theater. And then so of course, so that's why snacks and stuff are up, right?
That's how they make their money. Yeah.
That's how they make their money. So for people, people just think of it this way. Let's say a movie ticket's $10. $9 of that goes to the theater, one goes to the studio, $1 goes to the movie theater. So that's why popcorn is ridiculous, right?
Mhm.
Because they're trying to make their money back somewhere. And so if you can't get people to show up to the theater, that's a lot less money that the theaters are getting. And then thus it drives prices going up as far as concessions go, where they make the bulk of their money.
Mhm.
Studios need to stop being so greedy and charging the theaters more money to show their movies at their theater, making the price hike go up.
Yeah.
So like there has to be a give and take here to make things cheaper. And then the other big thing that he ended up saying that I really liked, where he said we need longer theatrical windows.
Mhm.
And this comes from, with COVID. And then AMC was the one that kind of screwed this up, where they agreed with Universal, okay, what is it, like a 14-day window? And then they can release it on a streaming.
Yeah.
And so, okay, so now you cut even more into the theater's profits. So now the theaters, yeah, so they're trying to make all the money they can so they can stay open so they can show your movies.
Yeah.
But you got to have the theatrical window longer because the way the contract works, the longer the movie's in the theater, then a bigger cut the theater gets of that ticket stub. So after 2 weeks, like I think week 3 and week 4, then it's 50-50. And then beyond week 4, then it's like the studio only gets like 30 or something or 20% or whatever. And so that will help theaters, and maybe theaters can make things cheaper. And like these are all things that I'm glad were just said, because for movie lovers like us, when we tell people, hey, you should go see this movie, the main remark I get, it's just a lot of movie to go to the theater. I'll just wait for it to come out on streaming.
Yeah.
It's killing the
Yeah.
business.
Yeah. It's and you can't argue with anyone who says it's too expensive because yeah, it is. Not
Yeah.
everyone has the A-list like you and I, and
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, when we bring our families, yeah, the AMC does a really good job of making what is it, Tuesdays and Wednesdays half off for kids. I
Yeah.
think stuff like that. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a cheap thing to do, and if it's gonna be as expensive as that, at least make the experience feel worth the price of admission. You know,
Yeah.
make sure your theaters are clean. That's what issue I have with the one we go to. There are times, I mean, sometimes that place is filthy. You know,
Hmm.
um, you know, make the process before the movie starts. Don't make people sit through all these ads. You
Yeah.
know, um, we know we're at the theater. We know we're at AMC. We know there's Coke to drink. We know we're
Yeah.
about to watch a movie. We don't need Nicole Kidman telling us we're about to watch a movie. It's not like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that. How
I
about
know.
that? You know, maybe at the beginning, tell people about the A list. Hey, you enjoying your time? Well, you could do it more by joining this and be done. 2 or 3 trailers. I'm with you. I love trailers. I do, but unless it's like a big deal where it's like this is going to be attached to this movie,
Hmm.
we've seen them. You know,
Yeah.
I'm not saying get rid of all the ads and just play the movie. Maybe 1 or 2 or 3 trailers, play the movie.
Yeah.
Bottom
I mean,
line.
I think get rid of the extra, like get rid of the Chevy ads. Like get rid of
Yes.
ads. Like I'm at the movie theater. I'm not thinking about buying a vehicle.
Yeah. Why?
Right. Yeah. Stuff like that. Get rid of that garbage.
Why is that
Like
there?
if now if you want to say, hey, we have this Fathom event coming up. Okay. I can understand that at the theater. Hey, this is coming up. Okay. Like you said, hey, if you're having a good time, you enjoy it, join our A list.
Hmm.
Okay. There's 2 ads right there you can keep that makes sense to me.
Hmm.
But other than that, AMC, where we make movies better. Yeah, we know. That's why we're here.
Yeah. Well, it's like you got the welcome AMC turn, exits, okay, and then there's the other one. We already talked about it. Then there's the
Yeah.
Coke one. It's ridiculous, and yeah,
Yeah.
and also the windows. You know, part of me feels because not everybody thinks like me though. Where I know if I want to see a movie, I'm gonna want to go to the theater, and I know there's some urgency there for me because I know that it's not going to be there that long.
Hmm.
So that at the same time that could get people to the theater, but the flip side to that is people will say, well, it'll be a streaming soon, I'll just wait on that. So it's a give and take. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think you know there's got to be, like you said, got to be some give and take for the theaters and the studios. I don't know why the studios won't work with them better,
Yeah.
because they need the theater for people to see their movies. I think possibly what it is the studios know they got streaming they can fall back on, where the theaters like they don't have another thing they can fall back on. So I get it,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. Well, what kills me is like when you're saying like you have a sense of urgency, right? Like you have a sense of urgency, but then what happens is kind of the Netflix effect where when they drop the entire season, everyone gets excited, they see it, and no one talks about it again and it's done.
yeah,
And because what used to happen was, movies had the 90-day window, right? It used to be they had to stay in theaters 90 days before they're on any other platform. Now, granted, back then it was cable or HBO or whatever. And what that did is that gave enough time for word of mouth to build up to where more people would discover more movies.
yeah,
And then more movies, even if they weren't a hit, could end up becoming cult classics.
people talked
Where
about it.
if you just throw it on streaming, people may or may not find it. But if there's word of mouth, dude, you got to go see it. Oh, is it still in theater? Yeah, man, just go see it. If it may be 3 weeks later, but word of mouth can continue to build. And then like and then on the flip side, if someone's like, well, I got to wait 3 months for this to come out. I feel like that was part of the joy before where people are like, oh, I have to go see it in the theater if I
Or
want to stay in the conversation with my friends.
yeah, yep. No, that's right. And there's a movie
Yeah.
you told me about that I've seen a trailer for it, and it was and you went and saw it, and it was in the theater for like an afternoon.
Yeah.
Or there's like one showtime a day for a week, and it's like at 11 o'clock on a Wednesday. Like, you know,
Yeah.
how is that profitable? I don't get that, but yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. And as movie lover, that's why for me as a movie lover, I feel like all movie lovers should have loved what Tom Rothman had to say.
hmm
And to get
yeah,
it out there to say, let's do this. Like, I mean, I don't know if that's going to change anything anytime soon, but at least now it's out there. And in the movie world and in Hollywood, everyone knows it's out there and like something's got to change.
yeah,
And this is coming from a guy from a studio really that is actually dedicated to the movie theater experience. Like
hmm
they want movies to come out in the theater.
yeah,
And and of course he's out there promoting like, hey, we got Into the Spider-Verse, or Beyond the Spider-Verse coming out.
hmm
Like we want people to see that in theater. They have that other Tom Cruise movie. It's escaping me now. Digger. Is it called Digger?
Digger,
I
yeah,
think.
Digger comes out
Yeah,
in November,
that's
I
they
believe.
have that coming out. Like they just stuff like we have this stuff coming out. Like we want this to be in the theater. We want people to experience it the way we intended to experience it, but we got to make it easier.
Yeah, make it
So
easier.
in which, and in that vein of things, now bringing up Steven Spielberg's remarks and talking about discovering movies and stuff. This is so Steven Spielberg comes out and he says that Hollywood is going to run out of steam if it doesn't get back to telling original stories.
Hmm.
Now he's saying this while he's promoting Disclosure Day.
Hmm.
Getting them excited for Disclosure Day, which you and I are very excited to go see. Um, so he's promoting that, and he's like, "Listen, if we just keep relying on existing IP, then we're going to run out of steam, and so we need to start telling original stories." So one thing that I thought about, and I wanted your thoughts about this, and about his obviously what he had to say, is as we're talking about original IP and discovering movies and stuff like that, like this is something where I just think like I think the whole and me, I love Marvel. And I
Hmm.
think Marvel Studios kind of ruined some of this because now where Marvel Studios pretty much made almost every single movie that Marvel came out with was an event.
Hmm.
It's kind of conditioned people to only show up for the big event movies. And then when a original movie does come out, no one goes and watches it. I mean, granted, some of that's mixed with it's too expensive to go and you
Hmm.
don't want to spend all this money and then the movie end up being a bomb. But hey, this existing IP I know is great.
Yeah, or
I'll just wait for the existing IP.
the original
Mhm.
movies that do come out, they're pretty foul so, a lot of times too.
Well, yeah, there's that, right?
People like you and I don't go, but yeah.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So like there's a lot of stuff like that. So I just feel like I agree with him. Hollywood has shot itself in the foot a little bit because it's like if it's not an IP that people recognize,
Hmm.
they're not willing to come out because they don't want to take the risk that this movie's terrible.
Yeah.
And so they have kind of shot themselves in the foot. And yeah, they probably should get back to telling original stories, um, or at least stuff that isn't relying on big brands like a Star Wars or a Marvel or a DC. Like, don't throw all into that. Like, so that way, when you do put out something else like a Disclosure Day, people will actually show up to it.
Hmm.
Or the Steven Spielberg biopic essentially that we saw. What was the name of that?
Fablemans.
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 Yeah.
Yeah.
More people will show up for something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think this is where the two things they need to work together because if you make things like we just talked about more reasonable, then people will be more, probably go see more original things because before I got the A list, I was like that movie. It was the big event movies because of finances, you know.
Yeah.
But now with the A list, I don't feel that way. But but I understand people feeling that way. So yeah, Hollywood that they've definitely got to get back to that and making more original movies but at the same time doing the other thing as well to get people to the theater.
Mhm.
Um, so because I do think there is a lot of superhero fatigue as much as I've loved a lot of the Marvel movies and DC and stuff,
Mhm.
so there's that. But the original stories, the art of it, that is a very special thing as well. And I think that's why it's important. If you love movies and you're one that wants to more new movies, more original ideas, when something's coming out, make sure you plan to go see it
Yep.
because that's the way they're going to continue to be made.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, because I just think like I know this isn't a good example because it is an existing IP, but in my opinion, it wasn't very popular because most people didn't know, but like Hail Mary,
Hmm.
right? Like I know it was a book. Like okay, I get it.
Yeah.
But I mean, I had no idea it was a book. And most people I talked to had no idea it was a book.
Hmm.
But the movie itself was still different enough from everything else
Yeah.
that it got me excited to go see it and end up being my top movie, but like of the year. But
Yeah.
it was great. Um, and then obviously tied to it is The Martian or whatever, which also was great. Like it just like even if you base it on IP, maybe even base it on IP that's not like super well known. Like, I mean, yeah, I get it. Probably all the book nerds knew about it, but they're not as much as the rest of us.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like you're banking on Star Wars.
Yeah. And get creative with titles and posters and trailers. The other thing about this, posters have gotten very lazy.
Oh yeah.
You know, there's no like having catching posters. Like, what is that about? I can't wait. And then if I see a poster that I haven't seen the trailer for and it interests me, I'm gonna go home and Google it and try to find a trailer, or hope they play one on the screen.
Hmm.
Make people intrigued. You
Yeah.
know, for example, Long Legs, when that came out
Hmm.
2 years ago now, the trailer and the poster for that fascinated me. Like,
Hmm.
I was like, I have to know what this movie is about, and it
Right.
intrigued me. It's an original story, and I think that
Yep.
movie made a decent amount of money. I saw it
Yeah.
twice. Um, not typically one I usually watch, but because of the trailer and the marketing and the stuff behind that, I was intrigued to go see it in theater, and a lot of people were. So there's a lot of things that need to happen here, you know, to do this. But people,
Yeah.
the bottom line is people get lazy. It's
Yeah.
just, yeah, lazy
Yeah.
in marketing, lazy in making the movie. They just want to cash in, and at the same time, I think we're at a point where people are starting to realize that as well. You know,
Hmm.
this is just a cash grab.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's had, and maybe that's the underlying tone of Steven Spielberg. I'm not sure, but maybe is like we got to stop being so lazy.
Yeah,
Because you're right with everything. The posters. I mean, a lot of times the teaser poster for movies are better than the actual poster.
yeah,
Like I think of like one of the. I still love this. Like the Ant-Man poster is just a big white poster, and it says
oh
Ant-Man,
yeah,
and then you see him super tiny in the
yeah,
middle. Like that was better than the actual Ant-Man poster, which was
yeah,
just all the heads on it. You know.
yeah, yeah,
And I'm like, dude, now that's a poster. That's cool. You know.
yeah. But
But
yeah,
they have. They just gotten lazy.
it would just be nice to know, like when I go see Disclosure Day, I know I'm gonna sit there and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna see what Steven Spielberg intended. Like he put everything into this, and I can
Right.
appreciate that. Whether I come away liking it or not, I know everything went into that he wanted this to be, and
Yeah.
and the people around him as well. It wasn't just to cash in, you know.
Right.
It's how I felt watching something like Top Gun Maverick. And it's not original IP, but same thing. Like, I know Tom Cruise and that they did everything they can to get it on screen and want us to have that experience and just to have some type of ownership and pride for what they do, you know.
Hmm.
And theaters got to do the same thing as well. Clean the place up, make
Yeah.
make it easy to get in and out, make it the concessions easy to get. Just
Yeah. Make it affordable. Like,
affordable. Yeah. Like our,
like
our
this.
AMC, for example, there's one concession and then one drink area, and the butter for the popcorn is way over there, and then there's a bar
Yeah.
that no one is ever at. I have been to that AMC. I'm gonna vent for a minute. Sorry.
Please.
The bar at our AMC. I've been at our AMC every time imaginable. I've been in the mornings. I've been at late at night. I've been middle of the day, afternoon. No one has ever been at that bar, ever.
Hmm. Never.
Get rid of that. Put another concession stand and drink station over there, so everyone's not. I mean, it's brutal, especially when
Yeah.
I got the kids, and it's like trying to. It's like, anyway, make it have some. Take some pride in what you're doing. I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Yeah, take some pride. Movie lovers like us, like we don't want the theater to go away. Actually, we wanted to grow. We wanted to get back to the way it was, where it's an event and you did things together with your family, with your friends, and you talked about it afterwards. And you may have gone back for a second time around, like all these things. Like that's another thing. People don't go back for a second viewing because it's expensive. Like
Mhm.
if you want all these things, man, like this used to be a community building time of an event, going to the movie theater.
Why
And you got to do
why
it.
does AMC not have the A-list advertising like all over the building? That is such
Yeah.
a good deal in my opinion, the A-list.
Oh yeah.
There should be a sign on the door that says, "Here's what the A-list is. Sign up inside." Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. So many people don't know about it,
I
you know,
know.
and it's just I don't know why they don't push that more. And while we're at it, tomorrow AMC, like the men's room, while we're at it, one, it needs to be cleaner. It's dark. It's scary in there. But two, have you noticed you wash your hands, paper towel over here, trash can's
Mhm.
way over there, away from
Yeah.
the door. You gotta
Yep.
walk all the way, and if there's a lot of people, it's awkward. You gotta walk past them and then go back. Sorry,
Yeah. Yep.
Maybe they'll see this. I'm gonna write a letter to the manager.
Yeah, as you should. Listen, I always just wash my hand on the end so I can wash my hand dry, turn around, throw, and then walk all the way out.
That's actually a good idea. That's what I'll start doing.
Yeah, that's what I have to do because if not, yeah, because the way it's set up, you walk that
Yeah.
way. So I get it. But yeah, like the whole layout and stuff is dumb, and it is. They need to advertise because honestly, as far as like subscription based movie theater, it's the best. Regal's is trash.
Yeah.
Cinemark's is trash.
Yeah.
I mean, A-list is literally you pay your monthly fee, you can see 4 movies a week. I'm not now we're plugging it. 4 movies a week in any format. Dolby, IMAX, 3D. They don't charge you extra. No, that's the flat fee. And then you get everything. Your concessions are was it half off or something? I don't know. You get all these discounts on concessions and everything.
Yeah, well, you get the points and you get $5 rewards.
Yeah, you get like double or triple points than the normal person.
Yeah.
Either way, it just makes a whole lot more sense, especially if you're a movie lover and you're like, I want to watch 2 movies a month. You end up paying for it that way, and you get a lot more perks.
It's the best thing.
Yeah, so AMC did great with that, but the AMC and all the other theaters, they got to do a better job with choosing what movies, because there was also a movie I wanted to watch called Exit 8. None of our AMCs were carrying it. And I'm like, well, you just missed opportunity for business there.
Oh, there's been several of those, yeah.
But there's been a lot of movies like, and again, I know that's like a movie that's like this looks great, right? Like this is based off of a video game. Yeah, it's in Japanese or whatever, but that's something different. But they didn't have it because they're just banking on the events to bring people in, either way. Yeah. Now we're circle reasoning here a little bit, but like,
well, I think too, people will go to the movies if it's something that they find interesting enough, and like, people have shown they will go. So
yeah,
do the things that will
that's good. Yeah, I know. So
yeah, so 2 awesome quotes that really stood out to us, and like you said, they're preaching to the choir right here with us, I believe. And, hopefully, people will take notice. And AMC, if you're listening to this, if you're watching, can we get a IMAX AMC in Kernersville or High Point or Winston-Salem or Greensboro, North Carolina, please?
Please.
Yeah.
Please. We need that. You'll get more money if you do so.
No doubt.
You'll get more money. Do it. Please. But yes, now you all have heard the ramblings of old men.
Yeah.
So. Wanting things of yesteryear where we could actually afford to take our family to the movies and actually have options to go see a movie and not having to wait 2 or 3 months because that's the only time you can take your family to a movie.
Yep. Speaking of old men, I just got noticed it's probably going to rain this weekend, so I'm looking forward to that. We need
man.
Yeah, go to the movies because it's going to be raining. Well,
yep, go to the movies, could be raining. And speaking of which, I'm going to go see Michael.
Yeah, enjoy.
So I'm excited to go do that.
Tonight. Let me know how it is. I thought the trailer looked interesting. Yeah, let me know.
Yep, let you guys know. I'll let all you guys watching know as well.
Like a good biopic.
Yep, I'll let you guys know my thoughts, and that's all we got for now. Thanks for listening. As always, if you haven't yet, subscribe to us. Like it. It pleases the YouTube gods. Anytime you like our video, more people will get to see it. And if you just enjoy hearing these 2 guys talk about things, let more people enjoy it too. Like and share.
All right.
Thanks, everyone.